CTV News with Sarah Freemark.
Remembering what it felt like 32 years ago when the Jays last won the World Series. Good evening. Fresh off the Toronto Blue Jays' thrilling win last night, we couldn't resist dipping into our CKVR archives to celebrate. Taking a swing down memory lane, it was October 23rd of 1993 when the Jays came from behind to beat the Philadelphia Phillies, cementing their legacy, winning back-to-back World Series. Flash forward to today, that same energy is once again felt right across the nation as fans are buzzing with excitement knowing the team is heading to the Fall Classic.
I kind of blacked out, to be honest. But yeah, that was so cool.
It's absolutely crazy. I cannot believe I'm watching this right now.
I'm still blown away. Springer's the best.
Amazing. I had to keep myself, restrain myself from not waking up my kids.
I was 10 years old last time they made the World Series.
Yeah.
And when Springer hit, I felt like Joe Carter again. Just like, holy crap, we freaking did it.
We are going to win. I am 100% for sure.
It is no doubt a huge win, and we'll have all your coverage coming up from the historic Springer Dinger to the fan that caught that home run ball and the fight for World Series tickets. That's coming up a little later in the newscast. But first, here on CTV Barrie, we turn to the police investigation that led to the closure of a busy bridge here in Barrie, creating hours of congestion for commuters earlier today. CTV's Luke Samard has more on what happened.
There, and I saw a man running down from that little area by the gas station.
An early morning police chase in the north end of Barrie resulted in the closure of St. Vincent Street Bridge for several hours. Police received information of a man wanted on an outstanding warrant around 1 a.m., with officers locating him in the area around 5:30 this morning.
He was in the area of St. Vincent Street near Sperling Drive, and as a result of that, officers did attend. The male observed us coming into the area, decided to flee on foot, and unbeknownst to him, a responding police vehicle was coming over the bridge. He ran right into it.
Witnesses say the situation began across the street nearby.
And then just ran across the road. The cop following him very swiftly, and then came around over here. He jumped in front of a lady in the drive-thru. Cop came in here to cut him off, but then he went up the bridge.
The suspect was transported to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Investigators could be seen taking photos of the cruiser involved in the incident, which was then covered in a tarp and transported to Barrie Police Headquarters.
They were also assisted by members of the Forensic Identification Unit. As a result, we did have to have the road closed for about 5.5 hours so that our investigators could safely conduct that investigation.
Police confirmed the suspect was released from hospital and put back into custody to address the outstanding warrant.
None of the officers were injured. No other members of the public were involved. We do want to thank the public, especially those that may have been impacted by the road closure.
In a phone call with CTV News, Ontario's Special Investigation Unit said they were contacted by Barrie Police. However, there were no grounds for them to be called to the situation. Luke Samard, CTV News, Barrie.
After more than a year of uncertainty, new details are emerging in the deadly attack on an Owen Sound restaurant owner and what comes next for the 3 accused that are now in the United Kingdom. CTV's Rob Cooper explains.
The 3 men charged in the death of 44-year-old Sharif Rahman of Owen Sound have consented to be extradited to Canada from Scotland. Rahman owned and operated the Curry House in downtown Owen Sound when he was attacked during what police say was an argument over an unpaid bill on August 17th, 2023.
You associate this stuff with big cities.
Yeah.
This is only 30,000 people in the town, and everybody knows everybody.
Robert Evans Jr. is charged with manslaughter, while his father and uncle have been charged with accessory after the fact to commit an indictable offense. During an extradition hearing in Edinburgh, Scotland, all 3 consented to being sent back to Canada to face the charges, but a final decision lays with the Scottish government. Rahman's death sparked outrage and anger in the community. Dave Bishop is the Deputy Chief of Police for the Owen Sound Police Services.
I think what that really speaks to is Sharif's position in the community that he earned over the years living here through his business, through the friendships that he created. A very likable person and a very valuable member of the community.
Deputy Chief Bishop says his service and the OPP have spent countless hours trying to piece the investigation together.
It was a very complex investigation. You know, a lot of the details haven't come out and won't until court, but this really was a whodunit at the start, and there was you know, literally thousands of hours of digital evidence that went under examination to be able to come up with the results that we have here today.
Yeah, there was a big outpouring of, you know, to support his wife and family and stuff. I mean, he just had a young child, I heard. So it was really unfortunate.
The community wants to see justice done, and this is another step on the road towards that.
Now, Sharif Rahman, who was born in Bangladesh, was very much a part of this small community here in Owen Sound. I'm told he purchased his family restaurant on Main Street back in 2015. His family still operates that restaurant today. Rob Cooper, CTV News, Owen Sound.
Police have seized more than $73,000 in illegal cannabis products from a store in New Tecumseh. The lot included dried cannabis, cannabis butter, and edibles. The bust followed a months-long investigation into Mohawk Medical 420 in Alliston. A 45-year-old woman and a 52-year-old man were arrested, accused of selling without a license. The man, police say, is behind a series of impaired driving crashes that happened in Barrie's South End, has been adjourned again. Here's CTV's Mike Arcelides.
Arlo Bueller walked into the Barrie courthouse Tuesday for an appearance in plea court. Now more than 2.5 years after police said Bueller was arrested for driving drunk in the south end of Barrie. The 52-year-old is accused of smashing head-on into another car, then driving around the neighborhood, hitting snowbanks before reversing into a garage. Investigators said the accused was behind the wheel with 3 times the legal limit of alcohol in his system. He was granted bail hours later. According to Barrie police, it was at about 7 p.m. March 16, 2023, when police received several calls about a vehicle being driven along Ferndale Drive South. That's where witnesses told police the driver caused a head-on crash at the intersection with Arda Road before taking off and traveling down Gore Drive, where he allegedly struck snowbanks, ran a stop sign, and later backed into a closed garage door. Bueller was charged with failing to stop after a crash, dangerous and impaired driving, along with driving while prohibited. Following his release on bail, court documents revealed Bueller was charged again in September of last year with failing to comply with a release order. According to court records obtained by CTV News, Bueller was convicted and sentenced in 2014. Bueller received a fine and 1-year driving ban. Provincial police said following a crash on Highway 11 northbound, a witness told investigators that the driver and passenger of one of the vehicles involved in the crash switched seats before police arrived on scene. Police concluded the driver was under the influence of alcohol and driving while under suspension. Bueller is scheduled to return to plea court for the 6th time in 5 months in December. The allegations against him have not been tested in court. Mike Arcelides, CTV News, Barrie.
It is no secret that sticker shock at the grocery store is being felt by many as grocery bills continue to climb and Canadians feel the pinch. CTV's Kathy Lee took a look into what specifically is driving those prices up.
Canadians are paying 4% more year over year for food at the grocery stores, and it continues to be a pain point for many who are struggling. The faster price growth was driven by a handful of items, including vegetables, sugar, coffee, along with fresh and frozen beef. I spoke to a number of people today who say it's getting more difficult to put food on the table and pay for other necessities.
I have 2 kids and I go to the grocery store and I'll buy 1 bag of groceries and it's like $100 every time.
Some have even tapped into the food bank because they need that extra support during the tough times.
Usually I set a budget of like $250 and that only gets me like a week.
The reasons for the increase in price for each commodity differs. A food expert says for coffee and beef, lower supply and high demand has driven up the cost. Coffee has been impacted by climate change and infestation in some countries, and the Canadian cattle industry is experiencing the lowest number of herds in decades. For the other items, a combination of labor cost increases and tariffs are contributing factors.
There are no retaliatory tariffs in Canada anymore. There were, and some of those costs that you're experiencing in the current StatsCan had been impacted by retaliatory tariffs that the Canadian government had put in place.
Experts say the lingering effects of the retaliatory tariffs will eventually subside and ease food price inflation in the near future. Kathy Lee, CTV News.
Why don't we go ahead and say good evening to Casey Colby. Yeah, you look a little chilly out there. The temperatures are dropping, eh, Case?
Got to put on the denim. That's what we have to do, the fuzzy denim. Yeah, that's exactly right. Temperatures are dropping. And then some. Let's get into a first look at the forecast, and I think you'll enjoy what you're seeing and hearing. I do believe so. First look at the forecast brought to you by Presler Injury Law. Call 1-800-JUSTICE. And 13 degrees. Okay, but yeah, it's damp out here. It truly is 13 degrees, cool wind, although right now it looks like it's only 6 kilometers an hour out of the west. This is a look at the temperature outside your door. Double digits still, yes, 14 degrees in the Sunshine City of Aurelia. We're looking at, looks like 12 in Parry Sound, 12 in Owen Sound, and 12 in Mount Forest, Ontario. A quick look at the radar satellite images, and yeah, we had a little shower activity today, and yeah, we're going to have a little bit more on the way. How much rain is on the way? Well, just so you know, it is coming down as rain, but on this date, Sarah, 1981, we got 6 centimeters of snow, so we could be doing a little shoveling back in 81, whereas now we're just kind of looking for an umbrella. So that's not a bad sign. More on that coming up in a few minutes' time. Back inside.
Certainly puts things into perspective. Thanks, Case. Barrie Police are turning to municipal cameras to help with investigations and respond to active emergencies. Why don't we go ahead and bring in CTV's Jack Morris. He's here to explain. Jack, how exactly is the technology being used?
Well, Sarah, the police service in Barrie has been using cameras like this for about 10 years now. There's 19 of them up. Most of them are in the downtown. Police will now have access to the city's traffic management cameras. There's 15 of them, almost all of them outside of the downtown core. Right now, they're set up for city staff to manage traffic flow during emergencies, but now police will have access to those feeds as well. BPS says footage captured on the cameras is stored for 20 days, then deleted. And police will also be able to see the feeds live in an active emergency. So what happens is this. The police go to investigate a crime. If they think one of the cameras might have caught something, they'll review the footage from that time and that place, and then they'll take and save that video to use in the investigation and trial if it gets to that point. Now, as I said, those cameras are live, which means police could pull those feeds up in an active situation, something like a crime in progress, an active shooter, or a missing person, to track someone in real time. Now, this comes as the Barrie Police are doing a survey now, asking people in the city how safe they feel. The 2025 Community Safety Survey is available online now, focused on policing, transparency, and overall safety. Police say the results will be shared publicly and help guide police priorities, especially considering the recent influx of safety concerns they've been hearing, primarily surrounding the homeless encampments in Barrie. The city says that these cameras and these new measures are part of a broader strategy to make people feel safer in the city. Earlier this year, Barrie Police did a full privacy assessment, and they say now that they have a plan to use these cameras while protecting the privacy of the people who might appear in them. The cameras are not used for traffic enforcement, and they don't issue tickets. I'm Jack Morris. Sarah, back to you.
Appreciate that. We are learning more about concerns around the condition of living spaces for Canadian Forces members, as well as the demand for recruitment and training. CTV's Rachel Aiello has more.
While National Defence has lots of plans, a lot of it is based on outdated information.
An alarming assessment from Canada's Auditor General and a quick admission from the Defence Minister.
We have work to do.
Amid a massive military spending boost and this government's renewed efforts to recruit, a pair of audits released today revealed that the Canadian Armed Forces is falling short in 2 key areas that could have long-term implications.
The Canadian Armed Forces isn't recruiting enough members.
While thousands apply each year, only 1 in 13 candidates make it to basic training, and the military isn't tracking why. Recruitments are also taking twice as long as targeted, and there's instructor and equipment shortages. Compounding this, the forces have failed to plan for and provide enough adequate housing for the recruits that do make the cut.
So this is going to impact retention.
After examining the conditions at a Navy base in Esquimalt, BC, an Army base in Gagetown, New Brunswick, and an Air Force barracks in Trenton, Ontario, the AG found many quarters lacked amenities like Wi-Fi and desperately needed significant repairs.
Toilets weren't working, or there was structural damage to the exterior walls of the buildings. The kind of conditions that you and I wouldn't want to live in.
Critics call these findings unacceptable. But today, the government was adamant that changes are being made.
We know that the better the conditions of living, not just housing, but childcare and dental and medical, things we're investing in, the higher performing they are. We want a high-performing military. We have one. We're getting there.
These reports cast new light on long-standing issues that military leaders have pledged to address for years. CTV News asked the current Chief of Defense Staff for comment today, and she declined. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Now, the Auditor General also says there are significant gaps in the government's cybersecurity services, monitoring efforts and responses to active attacks on information services. The report says not all federal agencies follow the same security rules, and there's no complete list of government devices. Lack of information sharing also slowed the response to a major cyber attack in January of 2024, letting the attacker access personal data for a prolonged amount of time. And a decade after research showed that early peanut introduction can in fact prevent allergies, new studies confirm it's working. About 60,000 children across Canada have avoided peanut allergies since guidelines recommended introducing peanuts to babies as young as 4 months. The protection lasts for most kids into their teens, reducing allergy risk by over 80%. Last night, Jays fans, both diehards and new to the game, sat in front of the TV to witness a moment that will go down in history. The Blue Jays clinched their spot in the World Series, and they did it in dramatic fashion.
And a swing and a fly ball to left field. Back goes Arozarena. She's gone!
That right there is being called the Springer Dinger. George Springer's 3-run homer that gave the Jays a Game 7 win against Seattle and, of course, the American League Championship. Let's head to Rogers Centre now. That's where CTV's Heather Wright joins us now. Headed to the World Series for the first time, Heather, since '93. The champagne was flying. How is the team feeling?
Well, you could see them in those photos and those video from last night. They are fired up. This was an intense game, Game 7. This is what, fans and players wait for, wish for. And it was a nerve-wracking game for fans and, of course, for players as well. Not a whole lot of offense coming from the Blue Jays until the bottom of the 7th. You just showed George Springer's home run there. And so from then on in, being able to close out, get those 6 outs that they needed in order to defeat the Seattle Mariners. What an electric time to be a Blue Jays fan, to be a Blue Jays player as they look to go to the World Series for the first time since 1993.
Well, isn't it amazing to see how the crowd really changed after Springer's home run? That's all it took.
Yeah, I was inside the stadium last night, and it was eerily very calm in some ways, but also there was a nervous energy running through every fan. The Jays were not able to get men on base. They were not able to cash in those runs if they did get people on base. And so it really did come down to that home run in the bottom of the 7th. And you could feel just things shift instantaneously when that happened. The fans, not sitting down in their seats for the rest of the ball game, eagerly awaiting those final outs to secure their ticket to the World Series. And from there on, the party, was happening inside. Of course, we've seen all those photos, but then exploded out here onto the streets. We've seen video of, fans honking horns, hugging strangers, climbing up poles. It really was an exciting night, and there is still more to go. As Vladdy said last night, 4 wins. 4 wins is what the Blue Jays need.
So that's the fans last night. How are they handling the race today to get those World Series tickets? And do we have an idea, Heather, what those might be going for?
Well, the ticket sales opened at 10 a.m. this morning. I got online, like many people did, got into a queue, and I think I was 240,000 people in front of me, is what they told me online. And so, needless to say, I did not get tickets, and I think there are also, I'm sure, a lot of disappointed Blue Jays fans as well. But look, this is postseason baseball. This is World Series baseball. Those tickets are the hottest ticket in town, not just for people here in Toronto, but fans right across this country who plan to come in for these World Series games. I've looked on the secondary market as well, and they are going for triple, quadruple times the face value. I've seen some tickets going for as much as $24,000 a ticket. So Game 1 and Game 2 will go here at the Rogers Centre on Friday and Saturday before this series shifts to LA. And if needed, Games 6 and 7 will be played back here in Toronto, as the Blue Jays do have home field advantage in this World Series.
Finally, Heather, do we know what's in store for Game 1 on Friday?
Well, look, the Dodgers are trying to run this back. They are the defending World Series championships. They have one of the biggest payrolls in all of Major League Baseball. They've got names like Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman. They know what to do. They've been here before, and so they are in many regards the favorites here. But look, the Blue Jays, all season long, this has been a team that you cannot count out. These are the comeback team here in Toronto. They've shown that time and time again. They showed it last night, that resiliency, being able to come back when they're down in games. And so this is going to be a very interesting and exciting series to watch. Fans, I think, are nervously hopeful for what is in store, but we've still got a few days of rest for the Toronto Blue Jays before they welcome the LA Dodgers here on Friday.
Yeah, well, the stage is set, spotlights on. Jays will take on the Dodgers, as you mentioned, on Friday and Saturday, kicking off that can't-miss World Series. Thanks so much, Heather. Okay, and now the next part of that story, the man who caught that home run ball, the Springer dinger.
The moment came in a flash. I was actually texting my cousins not to text me anymore because I was trying to watch the game. And when the ball hit the crack of the bat, I looked at my seatmates, who I didn't know, by the way, and shot on my glove, put it in the air. It actually landed in my glove, but because I was in a rush to put it on, I only had like 3 fingers in the glove, so I couldn't really squeeze it. It popped out of my glove, and with the offhand, I scooped it with the right.
From the 100-level outfield, Jays fan Michael Angeletti made the grab of the night as the crowd of more than 44,000 other fans in Rogers Centre erupted into roaring cheers. What a game it was. Now from the baseball diamond to the skateboard park, coming up next here on CTV Barrie, see how youngsters in the Sunshine City are embracing skateboarding and meet the teen behind an initiative that's giving back to the community in more ways than one. Plus, a mom from Stayner is turning chickpeas into pasta, and you'll soon find it on grocery store shelves more than ever before. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. A 13-year-old competitive skateboarder is sharing her passion with kids in Orillia, starting her very own skate club. Meet Lucy Goodman. She's been skateboarding since she was just 9 years old, and over the years she noticed that many kids try out skating in the summer, but then they never return back to the park. So she started Raccoon Skate Club to change that.
You just come and you hang out, and we just want to see kindness and positivity, and everyone we like the encouragement, and just everyone here has made, I feel like, so many friends, and it's at this point not even just about skateboarding. It's about the friends that we've made through skateboarding.
Now every Monday evening, 30 to 40 kids gather at the local skate park to meet, learn, and share their love for skateboarding. And they've started giving back too, collecting food donations for Orillia's community fridge. A homegrown Canadian pasta brand from Simcoe County is gaining as much attention for its taste as it is for its growing success on grocery store shelves. Founded by a Stainer mother with a background in nutrition, Shelby Taylor created chickpea pasta with the goal of offering a more nutritious choice for her kids. It's an organic chickpea and yellow pea pasta that is now found in major grocery stores across North America, and thanks to a $4.35 million investment.
It means that we could go into universities and colleges and hospitals and retirement homes and places where they really need these high protein options that are more digestible and plant-based as well. So that's exciting for us.
Shelby's family members, including her mom, continue to be a part of her chickpea pasta business. Today in Coldwater, kids from all over Simcoe County came together for the first elementary cross-country championship.
Nice. Yeah. At the start, I was like, I don't know if I can keep this pace all the way along, and like close to the end, I was like, I don't even know if I can continue, but I just pushed myself. A few times I slipped, but yeah. Good job. At the end, I really wanted to get him, so I sprinted as far as I could and finished it off.
About 800 students ran, laughed, and cheered each other on in a great show of community spirit. This fun new event kicks off a season of school sports, bringing families and friends together.
Good job.
It's great. It's very exciting. We've got, I think, nearly 800 athletes here today with their parents and guardians and family and supporters cheering them on. And the weather's also cooperated with us. It's very competitive, and as you can see, as the athletes head out on the trail and as they finish, the perseverance and character is evident, and absolutely they put lots of hard work into their training.
This was the first county championship of the 2025-26 school year, with co-ed flag football coming next week and girls basketball and boys volleyball set for early December. Well, if you have yarn and a little free time, this might be your moment to shine. The Stevenson Memorial Hospital is putting out a call to all knitters and crocheters in our community. The hospital's auxiliary is asking volunteers to create handmade items like baby blankets, hats, and finger puppets used to bring comfort to their tiniest patients. If you are looking for a way to get involved, all of those details can be found on our website. That's ctvnews.ca/Barrie, or you can use your cell phone to scan that QR code on the bottom corner of the screen. It was a dry summer, and the effects are still being felt right across Simcoe County. We'll share how that could impact your Halloween display. But first, let's check in with Case in the Garden.
Did you know that today is International Day of the Nacho? Yes, indeed. And soon, on the International Day of Bologna, the snow arrives in some areas. Where and when and for how long? Just ahead, and our weather watcher artiste will have a look. Spencer says, no snow on Halloween, please, please, because we want to put up our spooky Halloween umbrella. Well done, you're watching CTV News Barrie.
Picture this, brought to you by Bounce 1041 and Pure Country 106.
We are celebrating our four-legged friends, or whatever your pet is. Put that costume on them because they seem to love it so much, and send us a photo. Picture this at ctv.ca. Let's head outside. Casey Colby, I was watching the baseball game last night. So exciting, but I also learned when it's tense, I eat the pizza, the chips. I went a little overboard, so I'm glad the Jays won, but then I had a tummy ache today.
That's International Nacho Day. Why stop just because the baseball game is not on this evening?
Don't encourage me.
Yeah, I think there's a hockey game. Let's talk about let's talk about food later. Let's talk about weather right now, and whether or not you have the pizza or whether or not you have the nachos. That's entirely up to you. It's all comfort food, and that's what's required, certainly by the end of the week. Let's get into it. And here we go, talking about the forecast, starting with the temperature outside your door. 11 degrees in Mount Forest, 14 in Toronto. Go Jays! 12 in Newmarket, 13 in Alliston, and 12 degrees in Parry Sound. This is a look at the almanac today. 13 and 2, that's the high. That's the low. 27 degrees in 2007. Yeah. And minus 6.7 in 1895, way back. 10 hours and 39 minutes of daylight. This is the forecast radar. Is there precipitation making its way towards us? Yes, there is a huge amount, not a huge amount, but there are pockets of rain that could be coming down at various intensities. Let's just put it that way. Southern tip of Georgian Bay, Lake Simcoe. Showers starting this evening, no surprise there. 5 and 6 degrees. For tomorrow, well, cloud. Yeah, it's right throughout our region. 10, 11 degrees, just barely into double digits, and 60% chance of showers continuing. Orangeville, Bradford, Georgina, Newmarket, Richmond Hill, 5 and 6 degrees. Showers overnight is what we're looking at, 3 to 5 millimeters of rainfall. 10 and 11 degrees tomorrow, cloudy, 60% chance of rain coming down. Not a whole lot of rain in our region. Parry Sound, Huntsville, Bracebridge, Gravenhurst, Halliburton, we're looking at 3, 5, 6, and 7 degrees. Mainly cloudy skies and 60% chance of showers this evening. And then for tomorrow, well, that same 60% chance of shower activity is again listed for tomorrow. 10, 11 degrees for the high. That's tonight and tomorrow. Now, time for the Diamond and Diamond Lawyers 5-day extended forecast. And it looks like this. We're starting in Simcoe County. 60% chance of showers continuing on the Thursday. 10, 9 degrees for the high, incidentally. But, oh, moments of sunshine, thank you very much, on Friday. Goes away on Saturday. We're holding steady at 9. Slight chance of a shower. And Sunday, 10 degrees, sunny cloud, lovely. 5-day extended forecast, York region. Gray on Thursday, 60% chance of showers. 11 again on the Friday, a peak of sunshine for you. Still a chance of shower activity. At this point, Saturday just looks cloudy and 10. There's 11 degrees and sun and cloud on the Sunday. Muskoka, Parry Sound, Halliburton, have a look. Thursday, 40% chance of showers, 60% chance of showers on the Friday. But it's early in the morning and then things clear out, more or less. 8, 9 degrees, 8. Well, I'm going to point out, too, on that Friday, there's a slight chance of flurry activity. Oh, I didn't miss it. And then, I know I'd like to, Saturday and Sunday, 8 and 10 degrees, sun and cloud, but there is a chance of some flurry activity, and it would be on the Friday. I'll have the other toque for you for Get Up and Go. Sarah.
Halloween is just around the corner, and the hunt for the perfect pumpkin to adorn the porch is on. But as CTV's Mike Lang shows us, local farmers were bracing themselves to feel the impacts of what was a very dry growing season.
Despite a dry summer and fall, local pumpkin farmers say the growing season could have been a lot worse.
The sizes are down. The specialty colors definitely took a hit. But overall, compared to the rest of the crops, better than I thought.
Trevor Hewitt in Coldwater is among the many farmers in the region reporting stunted plant growth. Specialty pumpkins such as pinks, blues, browns, and whites feeling the most impact, with yields as much as 50% lower.
If they don't vine out properly, then they compete with the weeds way more than the regular ones will. Those weeds are competing for the same nutrients and the same water and everything else.
For Laura Wardlaw in Cookstown, she says the plant to pumpkin ratio of her 25-acre patch was far less than what they're used to.
So usually you get a few from a plant, and each plant produced about 1 pumpkin.
On the bright side, Wardlaw, Hewitt, and other farmers have been reporting that the traditional orange jack-o'-lantern pumpkins have been the most resilient despite the droughts.
We picked and we were happy with what we got. The stuff was a little on the small side, but we really can't complain too much.
It's actually been a beautiful fall so far, so it's been really good for families to get out and enjoy the farm.
Blake Morrison in the Collingwood area also saying his farm was still able to grow a wide variety of pumpkins and squashes.
It turned out okay given the weather we were facing.
In terms of when to buy pumpkins, farmers remind shoppers that sooner is better.
A lot of people are worried if you're picking a pumpkin end of September, early October, that it's not going to last. That's not the case.
Get one sooner than later, just in case there is a bit of a supply crunch where you are, but it should last all the way to Halloween.
In terms of storing pumpkins, farmers recommend keeping them in a cool, dry area and to only carve them as close as possible to the 31st. That way they could be as fresh as possible for Halloween. Mike Lang, CTV News, Cookstown.
And to prepare for the holiday, many are also stocking up on candy. However, those purchasing sweet treats may be in for a fright when they look at the prices.
Prices are higher. That's one thing. The other reason is that Halloween is actually on a Friday this year, so we are expecting more trick-or-treaters around. Everyone wants to make kids happy, and so of course when candies are small, you want to give as much as possible, and so people are absolutely more generous in that regard.
According to a report by the Agri-Foods Analytics Lab, the average household will spend between $35 and $45 this year on candy. That's up from between $26 and $35 last year. Fernwood Farms in Stayner is getting ready to bring the community together for the 32nd annual pumpkin pyramid lighting.
Every kid's going to get a pumpkin. They carve them from the bottom up. They'll put a face on them. All right, they'll pick them up later today, and we're going to put them on the pumpkin pyramid, and it goes on top of a Christmas tree light, and it's a beautiful experience.
I just love this. More than 350 pumpkins will be on display, all hand-carved by students and teachers from Clearview Meadows Public School. The pumpkin party promises a day full of fun with games, activities, a corn maze, and food to bring family and friends together.
The big buddies do all the cutting, and then they scoop out all the guts. They choose a design, and then the big buddies help them.
32 years ago, my parents came up with the idea, and it's just stuck over all those years. Just when you see the kids come out to the lawn and walk around that pyramid looking for their pumpkin that they carved and pointing it out to their parents, it's just a great experience for the kids.
The lighting begins at 7 p.m. on Saturday, October 25th, and it's free for everyone to enjoy. Next here on CTV Barrie, it's the hottest ticket in town, but with that comes fraudsters. How folks fighting for World Series tickets got caught up in some scams. Stay with us.
Bounce 1041 wants you to bounce to the beach. Listen for your chance to win an all-inclusive vacation for two to Sandals South Coast in Jamaica every weekday. Bounce to the beach with Sandals Resorts. Get closer to the Caribbean.
Time now to recap our top stories. An early morning police chase in the north end of Barrie resulted in the closure of the St. Vincent Street Bridge for several hours. Police received information of a man wanted on an outstanding warrant around 1 a.m., with officers locating him in that area around 5:30 this morning. The three men charged in the death of 44-year-old Sharif Rahman of Owen Sound have consented to be extradited to Canada from Scotland. Robert Evans Jr. is charged with manslaughter, while his father and uncle have been charged with accessory after the fact to commit an indictable offense. And the Toronto Blue Jays clinched their spot in the World Series. And of course, in a dramatic fashion, George Springer's 3-run homer gave the Jays a Game 7 win against Seattle, as well as the American League Championship. First game of the World Series is on Friday. Now, with that, hundreds of thousands of Jays fans were online today, hoping for a chance to witness history and watch Toronto and the Los Angeles Dodgers play in the World Series. Now, as CTV's Pat Foran warns, this is the perfect opportunity for scam artists.
And a swing and a fly ball to left field.
As the Toronto Blue Jays get ready to take on the Los Angeles Dodgers, at one point this morning, there were 235,000 fans online trying to purchase tickets. They sold out in about 30 minutes. Cadence Bunky of Toronto was one of the lucky fans.
Once I got through, there were not that many tickets left already. Like, a lot of them were resale.
Bunky was able to buy 2 seats in the 500 level for $500 each, and 2 in the 200 level were $750 per ticket.
I was shocked by the face value when I got through. I was like, that's a lot, but everyone was messaging me that they couldn't even get through the queue, so I figured, well, I better buy these.
I just wanted to go by myself because I'm such a massive Jays fan.
Taylor Belford was scammed trying to buy a single Jays ticket through a Facebook group. It was for Game 6 of the Jays and Seattle Mariners at $150 for a ticket in the 200 level. She says it seemed like a bargain, but the seller claimed they couldn't go and didn't want the seat to be wasted.
It was, again, somebody supposedly that had tickets that wasn't going to be able to go, that didn't really care about the money.
After she transferred the money, the seller said he couldn't separate 2 tickets and told her to send another $150. When she asked for a refund, she says it was clear she had been scammed.
I just lost that money, and I don't want other people to have to go through that too. So just, like, be careful.
Tickets are now selling on the secondary market. On Ticketmaster, 500 level tickets are selling for $2,000 to $3,000. The price jumps to $7,500 in Section 115. If you wanted to be closer to the action, you could pay almost $20,000 for 2 tickets. Over on StubHub, prices were about the same, if not more. In Section 22, 2 seats will cost you more than $12,000. But in Row 1, Section 21, 2 seats will set you back almost $25,000. But that's VIP with all you can eat and drink. You may find tickets cheaper, but be cautious if you see deals on social media. Chances are they're a scam.
I think they want to keep this Facebook group open to keep scamming people.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
And a big sporting event like this always brings a boost to bars, restaurants, and shops. Of course, they are all gearing up for a wave of Canadian and American fans ready to spend. CTV's Adrian Gabriel reports.
Revenue is pouring in,
Well, my flight yesterday was packed with Blue Jays fans.
with thousands flocking to Toronto to toast Canada's team.
Even on the flight, they were cheering, "Let's go Blue Jays."
From small towns to big cities across the country, Canadians are congregating en masse.
The phone's been ringing off the hook this morning, renting lights, renting carpets, booking DJs, so it's all hands on deck.
Toronto's Amsterdam Brewhouse predicts they'll go through at least 60 kegs of beer for Games 1 and 2 of the World Series.
To be able to serve, guests from around the world is always a great thing.
In a time of stiff economic headwinds, George Springer's historic home run has also provided a tailwind for the country's largest city. With tourism data for the American League Championship Series still being calculated, Game 2 of the ALDS against the Yankees saw hotel demand in Toronto spike 22% compared to the same day last year.
So in the immediate term, we get lots of spending at businesses, hotels, restaurants, all throughout the city. But that long-term impact is so important with the reputation lift.
It may be a 7-game World Series, though the payoff for the city, for businesses, is much more long-term.
When people on TVs all across North America see the energy of the city, see the fan base, and see the gorgeous skyline on every broadcast, and that has a long-term build that's so important.
Unlike 1993, at this World Series, nearly everyone will have a camera in hand with the ability to market a city and country with the tap of a finger.
October and November are traditionally slower months for the food, beverage, and hospitality sectors. Businesses we've spoken with across the country say they're eager to put their best foot forward as they step into the batter's box to hit a home run. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Toronto.
Canada's main stock index took a big hit this morning while U.S. markets saw a mixed start to the day. Let's take a look at the numbers now that we've reached the end of this Tuesday. The TSX was down 527 points. The Dow was up 218 and the Nasdaq was down 36. And commodities, oil was up to close at $57.24 a barrel. Gold was down to finish at $41.09 an ounce. And our dollar up to end the day, 71.32 cents U.S. Still to come, the lesser talked about Toronto team at the moment, the Leafs. Yes, the lads take the ice tonight to take on the Devils. When you can catch the action, coming up next. Here's a look at your Tuesday night primetime lineup. Our CTV2 movie is The Witches, and it starts at 8, followed by Corner Gas at 10:30 p.m. and CTV News Barrie at 11. Welcome back. The Toronto Maple Leafs return to the ice tonight, looking to get back in the win column.
Tavares digs in, clean win. Nylander put it right on. Rebound, scores!
Toronto is 3-2-1 early in the season and has already seen them play 5 home games. They'll hit the ice at 7 p.m. to host New Jersey. Now, maybe this will bring them luck. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. showed up to yesterday's Game 7 wearing an Austin Matthews jersey, and the Leafs appreciated the shout-out. Then they returned the gesture wearing Jays jerseys when they arrived to Scotiabank Arena earlier this evening. It was a fitting choice for Captain Matthews to sport the MVP Vladdy's number 27. All right, Case, let's talk about tomorrow because that gets us one day closer to the World Series.
That it does. A little bit of a cool night this evening. Have your toque on. And here we go. First thing, the get up and go forecast looks like this. First thing tomorrow morning, well, a little bit of rain, certainly possible in Barrie and Newmarket. 6 and 5 degrees, and at this point it looks like a chance of showers and 6 degrees, cloudy skies, chance of showers. Gravenhurst, that's the get up and go. Have yourself a great evening. Sarah.
Thanks very much, Casey, and same to all of our viewers at home. Thanks for joining us. Jack will wrap things up tonight at 11. Take care.